Hey guys, my name is Vishal, and Microsoft released some pretty cool tech last week, and part of that was the new Surface Pro 8, as well as this thing that is the Surface Laptop Studio, which is the topic of today's video. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about some of the good things, some of the bad things, and what my initial thoughts were of the Surface Laptop Studio. Now, Microsoft really advertised this as an all-rounder machine. It can do a lot of your day-to-day at-work activities. It can do a lot of the creative work, including video editing and photo editing. It can also play games to a pretty good extent as well. Obviously, we're gonna have to see what the performance is like when we get our hands on these devices, but we can tell based on the GPU and CPU that it's going to be pretty good at playing games as well. So first we're going to talk about the overall design of the Surface Laptop Studio, and I think the first thing that jumped out at me really was not the screen, but the pedestal that this thing sits on. It looks like there's a massive amount of space left for cooling or ductwork or something like that right at the bottom, and it looks like it's sitting on this pedestal, which, you know what, I actually kind of like. It's an interesting design, it's an interesting concept. You can't really see it if you're kind of working from the top view, but you can kind of see it from the sides. One thing that it does allow you to do is store that Slim Pen, the Microsoft Slim Pen, underneath that, and it can dock underneath the laptop as well. So it makes a pretty convenient design for that, and I think the architectural design overall is pretty great. The second thing that really jumps out, and it wasn't obvious from the beginning of their kind of preview or their trailer or teaser, is that the screen is convertible, and that's one of the really cool things about this. It can convert between just like a laptop to kind of halfway tilted to all the way down in tablet mode as well. So next, let's talk about some of the technical specs. The Surface Laptop Studio comes with a 4-core 11th gen Intel H series processor. Now, speaking of GPU, we have the RTX 3050 Ti, and it is a dedicated GPU for this Surface Laptop Studio. Some of the cool things about the Surface Laptop Studio: it does have an M.2 NVMe SSD for storage. It's not embedded, it's not eMMC, it's not that kind of stuff. So that is something that you can interchange, as well as having pretty good battery life. I think they mentioned it was around 19 or so hours with the i5 version, and about 18 hours with the i7 version. So one of them draws a little bit more power, obviously, so that's probably why there is slightly shorter battery life, but it's still a lot of battery. Like when you compare it to something like, for instance, a MacBook Pro, it's about the same range. Alright, some of the cool features on this device, one of them, and I'm going to start with this one, is the haptic touchpad. That's something that we haven't seen on the Microsoft devices. We've seen it on the MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs, and the Apple products, but we haven't necessarily seen it on the Microsoft devices, and I think this is going to be a huge jump and huge improvement in the quality of the mouse pad, because that is something that I feel is lacking on the Microsoft devices. Having the haptic touchpad is really, really good. It means that you no longer have a hinge on the top, which means that you can click anywhere, and instead of actually pressing down on the trackpad, it just simulates that by having haptic feedback. The next thing that I want to talk about is the Microsoft Slim Pen 2. This seems like a really cool device. Obviously, it's something like the Apple Pencil, but it's from Microsoft, so I expect them to be very, very similar in terms of quality. I think it does all the same things. It even has haptics in the pen as well, so you can, while you're writing, it feels like you're writing on a piece of paper, and it feels like you're actually writing. So I'd be pretty interested to figure out what that feels like. Maybe if I do end up getting this thing, I will test it out and let you guys know. And that's something I'm looking forward to as well. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you guys learned something or are planning to get the Surface Laptop Studio, let me know down in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next video.